Welcome to German history with a German accent. My name is Wolf, W-O-L-F, just like the animal, and in this video I am speaking about the Weimar Republic. The Weimar Republic describes the German state in between the years 1918 and 1933, the first German republic with a democratically elected government. The Weimar Republic has been proclaimed twice on November 9, 1918, once by Philipp Scheidemann from the German Social Democratic Party and once by Karl Liebknecht from the Spartacus League. Both of these gentlemen proclaimed the German Republic in Berlin, and for a brief period of time, the groups behind these two men caused a civil war-like situation. Therefore, the National Assembly that worked out the new constitution for Germany had to move away to Weimar. After World War I, the young republic faced some extreme challenges. Besides several coups d'etats, both from left and right-wing extremists, the Treaty of Versailles had been a big burden for the Weimar Republic. With the ratification of the Treaty of Versailles, Germany had to accept sole responsibility for World War I, it lost all of its colonies and other territories like Alsace to France or West Prussia to Poland. The German army was restricted from 3 million men down to 100,000 men. The German navy was restricted down to 15,000 men. The Air Force was completely prohibited for the German military. Reparation payments for over 20 billion gold mark, which equaled 7,000 metric tons of gold, had been put on to Germany, as well as the delivery of other goods like coal, iron, and steel to the Western Allies. Most Germans viewed the Treaty of Versailles as a big shame. Even the later French president Charles de Gaulle called the Treaty of Versailles not a peace treaty, but a non-aggression pact for 20 years. The year 1923 should become the year of crisis for the young Weimar Republic. In January, French and Belgian troops marched into the Ruhr region after the governments recognized insufficient deliveries of coal and iron and declared Germany in default. Once the Ruhr region was occupied by French and Belgian troops, Germany reacted with a passive resistance and a general strike of employees in that region. During this time, the government paid the salaries of the workers for about 9 months, which led eventually to a hyperinflation in Germany, an inflation that started already in 1914 and was finally stopped in 1923 when Gustav Stresemann became chancellor and ended the strike and started a monetary reform. Under the pressure of the United States and the United Kingdom, the occupant forces retreated from the Ruhr region. On November 9, 1923, Adolf Hitler tried to take power for the first time in Germany with a coup d'etat in Munich. With his Nazi groups, he marched onto the Field Marshal's Hall, the Feldherrenhalle, where they were engaged by police forces and eventually fought down. It cost 16 Nazi party members their lives, and Adolf Hitler himself had been wounded, but he could escape immediate arrest from the police at that point. But he was arrested 2 days later, and for treason he was tried and convicted. The following years, 1924 up to 1929, can be described as years of relative stabilization for the Weimar Republic. A variety of treaties with neighboring states reconnected Germany to trade deals and resumed diplomatic relationships. But 4 chancellors in 5 years and the election from Paul von Hindenburg as president of the Weimar Republic suggested that Germany wasn't on a very stable level politically. Often, the Weimar Republic is described as republic without republicans. After the stock market crash of 1929, a lot of American capital that was used to keep the German economy running was pulled out of Germany by their investors. Low liquidity and the falling economy crisis led to massive job losses and poverty in the German population. In 1930, the last German chancellor of the Weimar Republic, who had been elected by the people, had to resign over disagreements with the unemployment insurance. The following three chancellors all had to use so-called Notverordnungen, emergency decrees, to make decisions and laws without the backup of the parliament. Brüning, von Papen, von Schleicher used these measures in the final days before Adolf Hitler. Hitler himself, who became chancellor on January 30, 1933, used exactly these emergency decrees to instate laws to abolish basic citizen rights and eventually establish his dictatorship.